Hey, yo, it's Weezy. We live. Young Money Radio on Apple Music. We got Skip Bayless in the building. This is Young Money Radio. Young Moolah, baby. With the very best in music, collab, and sports. Tunchi, Lil Wayne on Apple Music. This man really does need no introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my bro, Skip Bayless. Got my bro Skip. How you feeling?
Good day to you. How are you?
Man, I'm awesome, man. You know, still trying to forget the fact that the Pack is we're not in the Super Bowl, but it's okay. It's okay. How about you?
Next year.
Yeah.
Next year for the Packers.
That's what Joe Montana used to say on Joe Montana football on Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
When you lose in the playoffs, he used to say, God, get him next year.
My heart is still hurt over Lamar.
Yeah, no, that's a fact.
That's where I am. I can't dig out of it. I feel like I'm in a pit. I believe in him. I've fought for him. Mm-hmm. I've defended him. That was everything for him. It was Mahomes.
Quote unquote legacy game.
It's a legacy game because you get to beat the best. Mm-hmm. You've got him at your place, on your terms, with your people. And I just didn't see that coming.
Score it once.
It hurt my heart and my soul.
Here my child monkey. Who you put it on? Because they ran the ball like 6 times, Skip.
Yeah. The running backs ran the ball six times. In the second half, the running backs ran the ball 3 times when you still, it wasn't like you were down 24-7. You were down 17-7.
And it was the number 1 rushing team in the NFL.
Number 1, 156 yards a game. And all of a sudden, I'm saying, hey, I want to reach in my TV and grab Lamar and just like shake him because God did give him a really good arm, a deadly accurate dart-throwing arm.
Yeah, but God splurged when he gave him that speed.
He said, here, I'm going to give you something nobody's ever had before. And he runs strong, he runs hard, he runs fearlessly.
So what happened on that play when he broke through that hole and he went to playing pity-pat with?
I don't know. Because when he broke, I said, you're gone, man.
Yeah.
You're just gone. I said, that's 6.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's gained some muscle weight because he's a big man now. You know, he's got stature to him. And maybe he doesn't run 4.3 anymore because he could not pull on those DBs.
To me, it looked like he looked like he was still approached he was at that point with still acting like he's in a pocket.
Yeah.
Because you know when he in a pocket, he got that, that I'm here, I'm there, I'm there.
Yeah.
And that's what he started doing with his hand and stuff. Like he didn't even try to stiff arm him.
No, patty cake.
Yeah, he was playing. So to me, that's why I was like, he acting like he's still in the pocket. Like he just broke out to the right side of the pocket.
So we got to see God's gift because he spun out of a sack and threw it, 30-odd yards to Zay. Yeah. And it was a beautiful throw, and it made it 7-all. And I said, here we go. And the number one...
That's what you said?
Huh?
That's what you actually said?
Yeah.
That's why they lost.
Look, Baltimore had the number 1 defense in the league, and it was Lamar's time, and obviously he needs the defense to match his playmaking. So all of a sudden, I'm watching 87 for the Chiefs, and they can't cover him. And I said, that guy is called Travis Kelce.
I think he went 11 for 11.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
He went 9 for 9 in the first half. Does that mean?
I thought he went 11 for 11.
No, but I mean, he caught all 11 in the game.
Gotcha.
But in the first half, he caught 9 out of 9 balls for almost 100 yards.
You already know. Bill Belichick would have had him absent.
The one great thing about Bill Belichick is I'm going to take your strength away. And if you can beat me with all the rest, you got me. But it was like Baltimore turned that upside down on its head and said, no, we'll give you 87. You can have him all day long. We'll just take away all the rest. Well,
and they ain't do that.
There is no rest. He's it.
Yeah.
And once Mahomes started cooking with him, if you get down 17-7 at halftime, you're going to have a hard time because their defense is the second best defense.
Exactly.
Okay?
Everybody kept talking about the Ravens defense. I was like, do they know that the Chiefs defense is literally number 2?
Literally number 2
literally.
in points allowed. And now we get to the second half, and the number 1 rushing attack decides we're just going to throw bombs the whole second half.
Like they were calling the game like they was down by 50 or something.
Well, like I said, if you're San Francisco and you're down 24-7, but this was 17-7, and it felt doable where you could just keep running it down their throats as you are capable of doing.
The whole time.
Yeah, and Lamar just wouldn't. Look, he's got an identity crisis because it's been driven into his head.
Now he can't throw.
You can't throw. You can't throw. You're just a running quarterback. So he's on the biggest stage against the best quarterback we have today.
You think he was trying to?
Like, watch this. I can throw it with him any day, any Sunday. Watch this. And Odell was not targeted in the first half. And I don't know that he's quite what he used to be, but he tried 2 bombs to Odell.
Yeah.
And he overthrew him by 5 yards. And I thought Odell on both of them was interfered with.
Yeah.
But when
I think because it wasn't catchable.
it wasn't catchable, and it wasn't. It needs to be in the area code so you can see the pass interference stop him from catching the football. But it was at least 5 yards, both of them overthrown.
Especially, there was one went out of bounds or something like that, and then
Yeah.
But and you could tell when Odell would get a reception, when he'd get a completion, he'd jump up and he'd have a bunch of fire. Like a lot of kind of like what Travis was doing every time he get he catch one, he jump up,
he'd get into
their faces,
pushing, shoving.
It was like, but that's weird. They're in Baltimore. Like how you let him come to your house and you can't let him come to your house and kick his feet up on the table and just. Yeah, let me get 3 bottles.
Yeah. There was a great quote 2 weeks ago from Roquan Smith. What we do is we play football.
Yes.
And the rest of the league plays basketball on grass. That's what he said, basketball on grass.
Yeah.
And we just go out and punch that right in the mouth. But basketball on grass went into their house in the first half and just went up and down the field dunking on them.
Splash
just
Brothers.
dunking. Just they splashed all over them. But, hey, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then Lamar finally, they had a busted coverage, and he hit Zay Flowers, and he got 54 yards. And then I don't the taunting doesn't bother me a bit. But
listen. You got to go back and watch the play, right? So I just had a problem with them calling it taunting, because that's not what he did. He was actually reacting. That was his attitude. He was actually so you can go back and watch the play. Was Sneed?
Mm-hmm. L'Jarius Sneed. Yep.
When Zay fakes left, cuts left and bang and cuts back to the right.
Yep.
Sneed tried to trip him with his feet.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Sneed,
okay. I need to go back and look at that.
So
I missed that.
You know how you play? You know how somebody get their ankles broke and they fall if they moving backwards, so they fall backwards.
Yeah.
He fell like that, and when Zay went to the right, Sneed stuck his foot out there, and so remember when he finally did get him, his knee still had his foot in it. That's why he was reacting like, let my foot go, like you just try to clip me.
Yeah.
And that was the frustration. He wasn't taunting him. He was frustrated, as in, that's why Sneed didn't react. He pushed Sneed down and everything to the ground. So if you could look in slow motion, Sneed laughs. He smiles when he gets pushed down to the ground.
He did?
Yeah, he smiled. That's why, because he was like, I know you saw it. I just tried to do, I got you got me type of thing.
And then he went and slammed his ham down on the bench and broke it open.
Yeah.
But then, a play later, Lamar makes a great throw on a little crossing route, and he is gone. I'm like, wow, it's about to be, this is the first play of the fourth quarter, it's about to be 17-14.
Yes.
And you cannot tell me that if Zay Flowers, the NFL baby that he is, because he's just a kid, this is the first year, if he can just hang on to the football and get it to the plane, but you don't even need to break the plane at that point, because if you just get a first down, they're going to score.
Down.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. All right. And L'Jarius Sneed what they say about karma being the B word,
you
right?
already know. Yeah, he came
so
right back.
He gets right back and snakes the ball out.
Right before you get to the goal, she said, "Oh, you remember? You didn't keep my number."
That's it. That's what she said.
She popped right back up right before he got in his house, right before he got in the car door to leave the club.
That's it.
Oh, baby.
Hey, remember me?
The last 3 numbers, 666.
Yeah, 666. Yeah. There's lots of sixes. Yeah. And that's the football game.
Yeah, it was.
Because the ball's on the turf, they recover.
You know what it reminded me of, right? It reminded me, the first thing I thought about was, when you're saying karma, first thing I thought about was good karma that came back for him, which was the Mecole Hardman.
It was.
At the goal line.
Yep.
Stretched him up.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought about.
That was good karma for them.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought. I said, wow, it came back.
Came back.
It helped
They
them.
got a break. Yeah. Okay. And they spend the whole second half going nowhere. And
fast.
Going nowhere fast. And it left me defenseless on Undisputed because I fought with Richard Sherman all year. I mean, Lamar ran away with the MVP. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, of course.
And that's a regular season award.
That'd be crazy because it'd be twice it was unanimous.
Yeah, and both times he had the 1 seed, and neither time did he get to the Super Bowl. Okay? And I just, when the game ended, I'm rarely at a loss where I just couldn't figure out. It did come down to one play, and if hey,
what was he? I don't know.
Yeah, hey, I will go to my grave saying if Zay Flowers can break the plane,
that's a different.
You have broken their will.
Different world.
17-14. I've been in that stadium many times. Have you been to that one? I don't know.
That was
in Baltimore.
In Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you have. It's as loud. It's close to Seattle for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just
Seattle's
it's like
crazy,
a pit
though.
of noise. Seattle's crazy, but this is crazy. It feels like the fans are on top of you,
yeah.
and it's still 80,000. But they're
Seattle feel.
Yeah, and they're just overpowering you with the decibels of it. Well, they didn't have anything to yell about, and that would have detonated.
It took them over the
Yeah. And all of a sudden, you'd have a whole quarter to play with, and it's only 17-14. I like my chances, right?
That's what I said. I was like, what is he? Why did he even try? But you can't blame him for trying to make a win, trying to just give him all yards, trying to score, actually.
So this is what ripped my guts out, was that Baltimore's defense got shredded because it got toyed with in the first half by Andy Reid and Mahomes. They just picked them to pieces. They ran circles around them.
It's genius stuff.
Yeah, it was genius stuff operating. And then in the second half, Baltimore said, we got this.
And they put their foot down.
They stymied Mahomes. Mahomes was nobody. He was
like 20
nothing.
yards or something, huh? In the second half.
He threw for 69 yards in the second half.
Okay.
And 32 of those yards came on the last pass of the game when he tricked them with that lob pass over the middle to MVS, your former guy. and it ended the game because it killed the clock. Okay.
MVS got up knowing that it looked like redemption.
It was. Well, he caught it. He actually caught it. And it was a good catch because it wasn't that easy. It's like you got to run and catch a punt.
Around.
Yeah.
Also, I was scared that first thing I was thinking about for him was hope he don't hit his head.
Yeah. He was going back hard.
Yeah.
But he hung on, and that was the ball game. But the point was, Patrick Mahomes had the ball before that 5 times in the second half, and it went punt, 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 punt. Okay. Punt. Okay. So you crushed them. You took them completely out of everything they did in the first half. And 87, Mr. Swift, he caught 2 balls in the second half for 20 yards and was no factor.
To me, he's beginning. I'm not about to say he is, but of course he's beginning to have that 12 effect. And I'm talking about the real 12, Tom Brady. What I mean by that is you can't bet against him.
Yeah. Well,
like you can't, when they go to saying who. And remember back in the days, everybody used to be like, man, I don't want to pick him, but you can't bet against Tom. I'm not going to bet against him. That's where he's kind of getting.
I mean, I don't know how many thousands of times I said it on Undisputed. There's one man in sports I don't bet against, and it was Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., right? Yes. And Mahomes is getting that way. I will give in to that. If you look hard at Mahomes' Super Bowls that he has played so far, he's won 2 out of 3. But he has not played great. He has no signature game in any of those three.
Nah.
Where you say, whoa, that was something.
Yeah.
Because Brady, if you look at Brady's body of work, he had 4 games over 300 yards passing, and he had 505 in a loss to Philly.
I say the last Super Bowl though. I say Mahomes did have one of those moments with that run.
But he threw for 182 yards against a defense that we had torched. The Cowgirls had torched. Just on Christmas, the Christmas before, Dak threw for 380 yards against it.
Yes.
And you saw what happened. It was that same Philly defense that just it got nuked this year.
I think Philly's situation came down to those coordinators. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand how serious how important they are.
Huge. Yeah. But that defense was way overrated last year, and Mahomes did, to me, next to nothing against it. But it took a guy that's now in the doghouse with Andy Reid, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Remember, in the fourth quarter, it took a 65-yard punt return.
Yeah.
Went down to the 5. So you had that going for you. And in the first half, Jalen, I don't know what possessed him, but he just lost the handle for no apparent reason. Nobody touched him. Remember, he just lost the handle, and Bolton just scooped it and scored with it.
I ain't want to say anything, but Jalen got a little small pattern of getting the yips in the biggest games.
Okay, I'll buy that.
All the way to the college, all the way back to.
Well, he did.
Yeah, that's how we figured out who Tua was.
That's what happened.
That's how that happened.
That's how we discovered Tua.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to the world. Yeah,
and then remember, he still got him when he got to Oklahoma. He still got the team to, I want to say they even got to the playoffs, right?
They unfortunately ran into your team.
Yeah.
They ran into Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow had one of the great games in the history of college football because he threw for 7 touchdowns against Oklahoma's defense. He's more intangible than tangible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So he can't rely on just sheer, like Lamar's got way more stuff than he's got.
Lamar is like a weapon that you need one person that knows how to work it, because if anybody else is going to go doing the wrong thing. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I thought it was Todd Monken. I thought they were simpatico. I thought they were
ran the ball 6 times. They ran the ball 6 times. Yeah.
And he ran one called run the whole game, and I would just run him. You got a shot.
You talking about the one he should have scored on?
Yeah. It was against a blitz, and they hit him on 4th down. It was like a 4th and 1, and he was home free. I don't know what.
Playing patty cake.
Yeah, playing patty cake up the field. I don't know. So I'm sitting there. It's like watching a horror movie for me, because I know I got to go face Richard Sherman, who's completely out of his mind. But it got to the point where, I'm not saying he hated Lamar, but he hated what Lamar was, and he got stuck on, no MVP has ever had stats this poor, like poor stats where the touchdown passes are half of what they usually would be.
I said that'd be something if he don't win it, and it'd be really based on that. Now, that'd be interesting.
Okay, but he look how many touchdowns he scored with his legs.
Yeah,
because it balanced out.
Yeah,
and you can't tell me after what. Richard loves the 49ers because he played for them. I think he loves the 49ers more than he loves the Seahawks. But the point is, Lamar went to San Francisco on Christmas night and just destroyed them.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
And they played 6 teams in their schedule this year of 3 or more games over 500. So they played 6 really good teams. Yeah. And they beat them by an average of 26 points. And here came Kansas City, which was not what they used to be.
Exactly.
Right? And they struggled, and they stumbled, and they fumbled, and all of a sudden Kelsey hit some wall, like about the 10th week. Yeah, and he went about 5 weeks, and I thought he was ready to retire.
He said that, though.
Yeah.
He had brought that up.
Yeah.
I think
he brought it up that he had considered retirement.
Because of the stress, the stuff that goes on with his body, because all the pain.
But he's only 34, but I'm saying, but he took a lot of shots. He took a lot of shots. And he is run after catch, because he just covers it up with both hands like an old school fullback or something. When he catches it, he just covers it up with both hands and just lowers his head and tries to run in through people.
But you ever watch him when he's not getting the ball? When he's not getting the ball on the play, he goes just as hard.
Just as hard. Yeah. Okay.
It reminds me of when I watch him on the play when he's not getting the ball. It reminds me when I'm watching a UFC fight, and like the commentators would be like, he's exerting him. He's using too much energy trying to get out of trying to get the takedown. They be like trying to get. He keep going for one. He need to just focus on standing. That's what it kind of looked like to me. Like they exerting too much energy.
So I thought he's in love, and God bless him, and I'm thinking because she's got a huge career, and I thought he's just going to become part of her world, and I thought he was on his way out. And then he goes to Baltimore.
And cut.
It's silly what he did.
He moved Justin. Like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, man, come on, man. I thought they was in Baltimore. I'm talking about before the game when he moved Justin.
He moved him out of the way.
He moved his. Then when he threw the helmet, Skip, the helmet, you could move my little kicker tee. You could move all that. You just threw my helmet, bro.
Well,
and Justin ain't do nothing but smile.
Yeah.
That's when I said, they didn't took their heart already.
Hey.
Justin was supposed to go back and tell the team. He ain't got to go get the team. At least go back and tell them.
Yeah. It reminded me of, Michael Irvin knows this story, but when Michael was playing for Jimmy Johnson at the U, and they were riding high, they played Oklahoma featuring Troy Aikman at quarterback, and it was a titanic clash in Norman, Oklahoma. And before the game, Miami came out of the tunnel, and Oklahoma was stretching in rows across the field. It's their, this is it. I grew up there, obviously, so I'm a big fan. And I'm there, and I'm watching them. They ran all through the ranks. They just went pell-mell right through the ranks, running through them, yelling and screaming like, what the hell are you doing? What they were doing, they're saying,
the intimidation.
Hey, this is our house.
Yeah, we ready.
Watch what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And you know what they did on the first series of the game? Remember the late, great Jerome Brown? Okay. He broke Troy Aikman's leg on the first series of the game. Now, it benefited because Karma was our friend because a little man named Jamel Holloway took over at quarterback, a freshman out of Long Beach, California, and we then went on from getting our butts kicked in our place to winning the national championship. But the point was, it reminded me, Travis Kelce and those guys are just going in there saying, no, we're going to bully the bully.
I had heard him. He said before the game, I think probably was a clip, probably was from a podcast, his podcast or something. He said he was like, I want to say one of the guys from the Ravens was saying like, I'm gonna shut him down, and Kelce was like, his his response to that was like, well, I got numbers, like check my like, what are you talking about? Like, you gonna shut me down? Like no one shuts me down. You might have a great game,
right?
But I'm not going to be shut down.
All he did in the second quarter was pass Jerry Rice on the all-time playoff catch list.
That's all I can do for you. As a tight end, by the way.
As a tight end?
By the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He passed Jerry Rice? Yeah. Now, he's like 9 miles away in yards, but we're talking about catches.
But he's a tight end.
Yeah. And his wavelength with Mahomes is...
They're telepath, like...
It is.
It's on a different... to me, it reminds me like Morris code. Like Morris code, they just tap it. They get it. They get it. They look at each other and you don't even know what just happened.
Yeah, it's almost like they're twins. Like they came out of the same womb together somehow, and they're connected. They're not identical, but they're twins.
I heard talking about how he broke that first touchdown he got. He said last night. He was saying how you have to be on the same page. You have to really know each other to know what he's like, because most receivers gonna usually give it away the back shoulder pass. It's like most receivers usually give it away by peeking back at the quarterback.
He didn't peek.
He didn't peek at one.
Because Kyle Hamilton was all over him.
And he knew exactly what. I think that's what it probably was. Hamilton talking crazy.
Yeah.
And he turned around right at the perfect time. Right there.
It was a thing of chemical beauty, because you want to talk about chemistry.
Yeah.
You want to talk about, because they have thrown that route.
A
trillion times in the summer or whatever, and Mahomes threw a beautiful rocket.
He did.
Of a strike and just down and away.
Perfect, when you watching the game and you don't, he did it so perfect that Travis ain't turning around and peek when you watching the game and you see the ball where it's going. You're looking like, why is he throwing the ball? Till Travis turned around. Till Travis turned, because Travis' route looked like it's going that way. He turned around right here.
Here. It was unfair.
Like he handed it to him.
Yeah,
too.
like he handed it to him. And I said, well, this is a big problem. You know, this is going to be a long day.
What you think about Mr. Dan Gamble? Or Mr. Man Campbell? Or Mr. Kneecap? But you know.
The kneecap
Yeah,
biter.
Dan Gamble. That's what I call it.
He is that. Look, I don't think that team is very good. That's just me. I think they're a little above average. And I admire him and them.
Overachievers.
Overachieving within your division. They're not better than your team. Your team exposed them on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah. You went into their house.
We was hungry, Skip. We needed something to eat.
You ate the whole bird, man. You ate the drumsticks. You took it all because it was over in about a quarter. It was a turducken. You ate it. You scarfed it, right? It was over after a quarter.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. In fact, I was eating my Thanksgiving right after Undisputed because we had a show that morning, and I'm with my wife Ernestine, her sister Joyce. We're out, and I'm watching the game on my phone. Yeah. And I'm watching, and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I don't know what's happening here." She said, "Well, talk to us." I said, "No, you don't understand. There's some destruction going on in Detroit because I just thought they're pretty good. You know, they always win on Thanksgiving at home.
Yeah, and they do even when they got a horrible season. They do.
They just win. It's just their game.
Yeah.
It's the people. It's a tradition. It's like Dallas. It's hard to beat Dallas on Thanksgiving at home.
It is. Okay. Yeah. That's y'all thing. Y'all always beat Washington.
Okay, correct. Thank you. That's about all we did, but beat Washington twice. What you guys did to us, I'll never get over it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. What Green Bay did to Dallas, I still cannot fathom it. I can't compute it. I can't wrap my psyche around it because you want to talk about destruction. But they showed you on Thanksgiving. And they were trying to show you at San Francisco. Yeah. They were trying. Yeah. The first 3 times they had the ball, they just have to cash. If they had cashed.
Especially on those interceptions, too. Yeah. But Mr. Campbell, though, what you think about those decisions?
All right. So my point is, they're overachieving, and their battle cry was, "We go for it," right? Okay, so I'm not going to condemn him for doing what he always did, because the old Texas expression, he went to Texas A&M, he's from small town Texas, is you dance with who brung you. Yeah. So you dance with your dance partner who is go for broke, and it's going to go for broke, because sometimes it's going to break, right? But what got me was they have San Francisco down to 4th and goal at the 3 at the end of the first half. And if you cash that one, you're up 28. It's 28-7. I don't think they can come back. There's something about 28-7 that just seems psychologically overpowering, where you say, we can't climb that mountain. But 24-7, if we could just cut it to 24-14, we're only down 10.
Exactly.
There would be something psychologically devastating about, we just gave up 28 at home.
There's points, though. You're supposed to.
They had rushed for 150 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
You know Kyle Shanahan very well. Mm-hmm. In his tenure there, over 7 years, no Kyle team had ever allowed 150 yards for a whole game rushing. And so they got it in the first half, which I didn't see that coming. San Francisco took them lightly and was not ready, and it was close to being over. So I couldn't believe he didn't go for the throw there, because it looked like he was, and then he threw up his hands like field goal, like okay, let's take the field goal. What?
I'll let you know he a little.
Yeah, okay. And then in the second half, he's just dancing with who brung him, because this is what I do. So my guys expect me to do this. And to his credit, on the first 4th and 2. The pass to Jared Goff threw a sweet pass
Reynolds?
to Josh Reynolds, hit him right in the hands. You have to catch it.
But he missed like 3-4 passes that night. That game.
He missed 2 big ones in the second half, because there was a 3rd and 9, and Goff hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it. Okay, all right. So, to me, I think it's being overrated, the San Francisco comeback, because it should have happened in the first half. Like, I picked it 35-14 San Francisco because Detroit was 23rd in points allowed. They're just not that good. Their back end has a hard time holding up. If you can block Aiden Hutchinson, which your big man Trent did, he just took him out. He didn't have any impact on the game.
They don't have nothing else.
That's like it. That. Okay. So help me out here. What exactly did San Francisco do that impressed you? So they got to play Detroit, who didn't belong there. Listen, Green Bay gave San Francisco a better game.
I think San Fran thinking they lucky stars right now, the way they got, because they got that kind of easier than they probably thought it would. Not having to face y'all and not having to face the Eagles and stuff like that. They got away a little bit.
They got away with it. Yeah. They got Detroit?
But they got
seriously?
But they got that.
Okay, but Detroit. Okay, so they got I'm being nice, a below average defense. And they have zero playoff experience. Jared Goff has some. I'll give you that. But remember, they hadn't won a playoff game since 1992. They hadn't won a road playoff game since 1957. So there's no There's no tradition in them. They don't believe. They're just out there just trying to survive. And then all of a sudden,
it hit them.
The sky fell on them, and the earth shook, and they didn't know what to do. And once Josh Reynolds dropped that ball, now you're in big trouble because then I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he's really talented.
Yeah, I remember there was this questioning why did they even pick him in the draft.
Hey, no, he can play. Yeah. He is explosive, and unfortunately, he's another baby. He fumbled, and once you fumble, look out. And they pulled away. It was 34-24. They had a 10-point lead and let them go down late and just get a garbage touchdown, right? Okay, so it's hard for me to buy into San Francisco, and now we're back to your theory about Patrick Mahomes. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but how do you bet against him in the Super Bowl? Because he and Kelsey got it going. And Taylor's going to be there, and it's just that they got magic is happening. It's all meant to be.
I heard the I don't know if it was a joke or not, but I heard the cheapest ticket for the Super Bowl this year is $9,000. I'm talking about they said like to sit at the top under the lights.
Really?
It says I don't know if there was, but I think they wouldn't have announced it like that if it was a joke. Huh. Obviously, it's going to go. I mean, I hope the ticket price goes down. But who's going? If your cheapest ticket is $9,000, you about to have a crazy type of crowd. I'm going to that crowd with an application. What? So I mean, now speaking of the Super Bowl, who you got, Skip?
I am leaning early. I reserve the right to change this, but at this moment, I am leaning Mahomes. I just think it's meant to be for them. They got hot when you're supposed to get hot, when nobody saw it coming, and all of a sudden they get through Miami at home in the cold, and then they go to Buffalo, and it came down to a missed 41-yard field goal by their little kicker, Tyler Bass. And maybe we're having a different conversation, but it's like meant to be, meant to be, meant to be. And they went in and they bullied the bully. I really like their defense. The more I watch their defense, it is really good.
They got some defense.
Hey,
they got some defense.
Like Chris Jones is serious business.
But he's so smart.
I listened to him after the game, and I'm like, whoa.
He's a smart guy.
Like PhD smart.
He's smart. So that's what I fear about him on the field.
Yeah.
It's like, you kind of feel like he's smart. He almost know where you're going to be at before you're going to be there.
Yeah.
And he could break down your offense for you. And like you said, and when he speak, you could tell that that's a different guy on the field. When he's on the field, it's not it's not see ball, get ball with him.
They can fool you because they're experienced. Those two corners, L'Jarius and McDuffie, they're Pro Bowl quality.
Jerry's about to have so much confidence, bro, in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he got snubbed for the Pro Bowl. He belonged.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yes, he did. Actually, Skip, I don't think I think the Chiefs, period, for the awards this year, I don't think there's no Chiefs, like none.
They fell off the face of the earth for a while. And everybody's writing them off, and they couldn't catch. Remember how many passes they dropped?
They dropped, yeah.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, that Rashee Rice, he's like one of your kids, like one of your Green Bay
He's
receivers.
nice.
He's like a Romeo.
Yeah.
He's got explosive ability, and he's just figuring out how to play.
What?
And he's playing with one of the greats who's ever thrown him a football.
I like Checo.
No, man.
Pacheco.
He runs hard.
Oh, my God.
runs
I mean,
hard.
yesterday he had a little. They put something on him yesterday. Oh, that 1 yard 4 down that run that they stopped right at the line.
Just reached out and threw him down.
Wow, that looked like that one play looked like the old Baltimore defense.
Well, it is. I mean, it was.
You know what I mean, though. I thought I saw.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought I saw T Sizzle out there or something.
Hey.
Yeah, that was
So did
that
I.
one play.
But I've been watching them all year. And I'd picked them to win it all before the year started. Lamar to be the MVP and the Super Bowl MVP.
Ooh.
And they had them. They're better than Kansas City, but they did not play better than Kansas City. So now it just feels like it's meant.
And again, I can't stop saying, Skip, I can't stop wondering, what was Ty Malunka? Like, what were you thinking? Ty Malunka, what were you thinking? Like, the six rush, like what?
I don't know.
You're supposed to, like you say, you're supposed to dance with who brung you, man.
Yeah, that's who you are.
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down swinging with my best swings. You know, my best shots.
I don't know.
If they don't hit you, then that's that. But they were my best shots.
They're 50-50. They run it and they throw it 50-50. And in the second half, Lamar threw 25 passes. It's just not him.
Every time I looked at him, he was dropping back and doing this.
And doing that
duck
ducking,
under,
ducking, because
duck
they
under
come.
that one person.
They come after you. And they blitzed him like 70% of the time. So they just said, no, we're coming after you, and we're going to pin you in the pocket, and we're not going to let you escape, and we're going to make you show us you can beat us with your arm.
If they blitzing, then why didn't Baltimore do what they were best at this season? And what they were best at this season was when Lamar got the RPO going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he got the run pass out, when I could give it to, or I could keep it myself. Yep. And I could throw, and that's so difficult for a defense to defend.
I don't know.
It's so difficult because I can't. We have to defend on us. We have to defend. We have to be reaction. We have to react. We have to be reactive to it because we don't know what you're doing. Yeah. We don't know which option you're going. We're gonna try to shut one of those options down, but you got two more, and also your running option if you take off, that's a problem for us. I was like, why they not doing what they do best? Like beat us doing what we, you know what I mean? Show me that you could beat me doing what I do. Beat what I got my best of me. Yeah. They didn't do none of that.
I told you, I'm still in awe and in mourning because you single covered Travis Kelce the whole game, at least the first half.
What was that about?
I don't know. And then you abandon
what you do,
which is running the football with Lamar running the football.
Exactly.
And he's been an escape artist from the pocket where he'll just take off. I think he went out to say, watch me out Mahomes.
That's what I said.
But it's not who you are exactly. It's not that you can't throw. Everybody knows you can throw. You won an MVP in 2015. You threw the hell out of it. You riddled the whole league throwing darts. He's got a nice arm. It's a sweet, easy delivery. It's just a flick. He just flicks it. But he was a little off. And then we argued on Undisputed, did he play a poor game? And I said he didn't play poor. He just didn't play an MVP caliber game.
He felt like being Josh Allen.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah, because every time Josh get across from Pat,
he
don't see no more. He don't see it. He don't see no team.
No,
he don't see nothing. It be
watch this.
And on defense,
watch
it be to him on defense. It's 11 Patrick Mahomes. He be playing. He's going against 11 Patrick Mahomes and trying to beat them all. Like, come on, man, be who you are. Believe in what you do. Believe in what got you there.
Well, what got you there? And so now. Think about this. Lamar has to start completely over.
I thought about that too. That's why I was like,
he's now 2-4 in the postseason.
Almost to where I thought of this. This is what I thought of. Yeah, no. I two thoughts. I said next season he put himself in a situation to where he can almost score 100 points in a game, in a regular season game, and he's gonna. I'm talking about him.
Yeah.
He may still get to the podium and be like, I don't want to be rewarded for this. Don't tell me nothing about it, because I want
all that matters.
I want what matters, and that's hard to go through a season like that.
Yeah, and then think of the pressure how it's going to build next playoffs, because everybody's going to say, God,
he ain't gonna do it. He can't do it.
Yeah.
know.
In his, what did I see this morning? In his 4 losses, he has 4 touchdown passes and 8 turnovers in those 4 losses. Well, it's horrible. I can't defend it. I tried, but I can't even reach down to the bottom of my heart to defend it.
I was mad that he was another quarterback with the style that he plays with that didn't get there. At least get there, and hopefully win it. Because I'm thinking about number 7. I'm thinking about Vic. I'm thinking about. I remember Kaepernick tried. And it's just like they've proven that this league is proving to you and proving to us that that's good, but that's all that is. It's good.
So you'll get a kick out of this. On Undisputed the other day, Keyshawn was talking about how Lamar could become the first running quarterback, quote unquote, to win the Super Bowl. And it was positioned for him to do just that.
Just that.
And I jumped in and I said, well, what about Steve Young? And obviously, I was just kidding with him. And I said, obviously, he wasn't a black quarterback. But the point was, back in his day...
No, you ain't got to tell me. I already know.
Do you know?
I know, yes.
Hey, Steve Young was like a whirling dervish,
I
man.
play Madden. On Madden, whenever the play break down, when I'm playing with Madden, when I got Joe Montana, I'm not about to scramble. I'm not about to take off from the box on Madden. You taking off with Steve Young.
But he was like a psycho runner. He would just take off and nobody could get him on the ground. And he had extraordinary white guy quickness, like ridiculous.
He was considered a running quarterback.
He was a running quarterback in college, and they had to coach the run out of him to get him to a point.
Like Lamar.
He was just an okay thrower. He was just okay. Lamar's a better thrower than Steve Young to
Lamar
me.
got a shot. Lamar got this. He got a bomb. He got a pretty one, too.
It's just easy. It's just like effortless, man. Yeah. But Steve Young, the Cowboys, just back in the day when I covered the Cowboys, they used to love to play Steve Young because he would just unravel right before your very eyes.
He's going to sling it.
And finally, when they got Deion on their side in 1994, it became an NFC Championship game at Candlestick at San Francisco. And our new coach was Barry Switzer. And it was just a little off and a little shaky. And we fell behind 21-0, and all of a sudden it was Michael Irvin versus Deion Sanders for the rest of the game. Yeah, I was talking to Michael about it today, as a matter of fact, and he said, I had 22 targets that day because they were a running football team who had to throw. So my point is, Steve Young, the whole quote was, I got the monkey off my back. Well, he had to get through Dallas that day, and he did. And then they went on and destroyed the San Diego Chargers in the Super Bowl. And it was a wipeout.
I think it was like 60-something to 7.
It was terrible. And Steve Young was the MVP, and God bless him, and he's in the Hall of Fame. But he came up as this crazy nutcase running quarterback who could actually run. Yeah.
And he cool and calm. He cool, calm, and collective now. That's crazy.
Well, you saw him the other night
in the suite.
At the Green Bay.
Yeah, he was in the suite next to mine.
Yeah.
He's cool.
He's cool.
Yeah.
And he's smart.
I told you he bought Charles Haley in there and Ricky Waters.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Those are 2 of my favorites, especially Charles.
Yeah, I had to tell told Mr. Ricky Waters that, like, man, what? Like, you don't understand. Like, you was cold.
He was cold.
Yeah.
And in that 94 championship game, he took that game over.
Yeah. And didn't he come from the Eagles?
Mm-hmm. He was Eagle first.
Yeah.
Yep. Now it's your turn. You are picking in this upcoming Super Bowl the
49ers, man.
Okay, is that a heart or a head pick?
I told you on the show that I'm picking. I was riding with Kyle straight hard over here. I ain't even trying to think about it. Straight hard.
No fronting on that one.
Yeah, no front. Because it's hard to pick against 15. I told you that's super tough to go against 15. He's getting that Brady effect where you just know not to bet against Brady.
Yeah.
But I got to rock with my man Kyle.
Okay. There's something about this Chiefs team this year where Mahomes has figured it out. He used to throw interceptions like crazy, nonchalant, like careless interceptions where you say, what was that?
This season ain't been too sweet for him. All that throwing his helmet, we ain't have all that. But he also, to me, for a person like me, when I saw that, it showed me that it showed me like he's a real great. Because when you get, I don't want to make the comparison to money, but there's a saying about when you see who a person is when they got some money in their pocket, something like that. So when you see, we know Pat got everything. He's at the top of the top, and he's still arguing. He want arguing calls. He's arguing with us. And then what I noticed about him though, he refused to get on that mic after that game or any game where we clearly see him arguing. He refused to get on that mic and say, yeah, so I was arguing at my receiver for this, or arguing at my line. He get up there straight and blame himself.
He will.
Blame himself.
No, he says all the right things.
The defense could get 48 dropped on him. Yeah. He gonna get up there and act like it was he was the reason why they scored 48.
Yeah. So you remember his first Super Bowl in Miami because you played at the after party for the 49ers.
Yeah.
And my man Richard Sherman didn't even attend the after party because he just said, I can't take it. And it was controversial whether you were even going to play at the after party, right? Because they lost.
They lost.
Okay. But Mahomes in that Super Bowl, if you remember, late third quarter, he throws a terrible interception.
Yes.
And it's 20-10 49ers. And then early fourth quarter, he throws another one like an abominable, what are you doing interception? And I'm thinking, this is it. The 49ers got this one. Like Kyle, he's going to
finally got it.
He's going to exercise the ghosts of the 28-3 that they blew against the Patriots. And all of a sudden, it's 3rd and 15. Do you remember this play? At the 35. It's 3rd and 15. And Richard Sherman will tell you they completely blow the coverage.
Right over Richard.
Yeah.
And Tyreek.
And to Tyreek. And it's like Patrick threw him a punt where he had to stop and come back and he called a fair catch on the pass, right?
Yeah.
And it went for 40-some yards. And all of a sudden, they're out of jail and they're out of the hole. And they scored, in the last 6 minutes of the game, they scored 21 points. And they won 31-20. 31-20. Okay? And it just blew the 49ers out of the water. But at quarterback for the 49ers that day was
Jimmy
G, who in the fourth quarter went 3 of 11 for a grand total of 36 yards and an interception. And he missed, do you remember this play? Emmanuel Sanders is just running free at the goal line. At the end, it's a minute and a half left. And he just airmails him like 5 yards to the right and over his head. And
Lamar threw a couple of those last night.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
No, he did. But Brock Purdy will occasionally throw
a few of those.
Yes, he will. Well, he threw one the other night that hit the cornerback in the face mask to Ayuk, and it bounced up. You want to talk about you want to talk about the luckiest bounce in the history of football?
Because if he would have intercepted the ball right there, they'd had the ball somewhere like on the 5 or something like that. Yeah. What?
Yeah. And you're up. Detroit's up 10 at that point. Okay, so it would have stopped the bleeding. And it might have just switched the momentum around.
It would change the game.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're already thinking that that is right there. What?
Yeah. And then remember the play Brock gets away with? It's 3rd and like 3. It's a big play. And he escapes to his left, and he's scrambling. He's not sure.
Oh, that's one of the best plays of the season, Skip. That's one of the best plays.
He throws it back across his body. No,
I'm thinking about Pat.
Well, that was it's the same idea. It's the same play, except in the different game.
He threw it across his body to who, though?
To Juwan Jennings, who caught only one ball the whole game, but he threw it up high, up over the defender, and it was perfect. It worked.
He kind of threw it to only where Juwan could get it, though.
It was the only one.
Yeah.
Okay, but listen, it's ill-advised. Yeah. You would not teach it. You wouldn't coach it.
Because I remember the first thing I said was Lamar would have been gone.
He would have gone. But then at the end of the game, Brock Purdy got loose 3 different times. He went for 21, 10, and 20. Yeah, it's 50 yards. Yeah. He did. And I'm saying, where did that come from? I tweeted, I called him Lamar Purdy because I looked up his 40 coming out of Iowa State. He ran 4.84. Okay. So, but then you put a football under his arm.
He looked like he
could run.
Like
he did. No, seriously, like he actually could run a little bit. But you know how sometimes you put a football under a guy's arm and he runs scared, like good scared, and he...
Oh, no, not Brock.
I don't know.
Brock don't even know how to slide right.
He doesn't know what's
Yeah, Brock don't even look like... It don't look like he trying to slide. It look like he be like, damn, I forgot they told me to slide.
Yeah. You know, with Brock Purdy, here's my problem. I'm an Oklahoma fan, so I watched him for 4 years. He stayed for all 4 years because he was just a guy. And I watched a bunch of... He'd play Oklahoma State, and I would watch these games, and he was a overachiever. He was a gutty little
gunslinger.
Fighter. You know, like he'd try anything, and he'd fight you. You know, he'd push and pull and try everything he can to win the game for Iowa State.
Kind of like on a smaller scale, like a Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, like Baker, but not. But Baker's like a cut above. But it is. It's the same. It's
That
the
fight.
same idea.
Yeah.
Baker is an overachiever. I will give you that. But he was the first pick in the draft for a reason, because I think Baker's still pretty good, and he had a great year this year.
Yeah, he did. I think Baker got him a check.
Okay, well, he got him a nice check. And I know for a fact he got him a check because I know the people in charge there, and they love him. They love his spirit and his spunk and his leadership, and the team is vibing. You know, they play for him.
They believe in him. They run through a wall for him because they know he'll run through a wall for them.
Okay, but so Iowa State was on a mid-level where their gutty little quarterback is trying, and they're going to, go whatever, how many games they play. They're going to go 6-6, like that's all they're going to have. But Baker Mayfield got you to the national semifinal against Georgia, and remember, and they went double overtime and they lost. Okay, but he got you that far because he's that talented, but he's still overachieving because he's about 6'1", maybe.
His will is different.
His will is different.
Yeah.
Well, now Brock Purdy, I can't even get it through my head because I keep watching him saying, that's that same guy at Iowa State, which is why he was the last pick in the draft. Yeah. Well, what is going on with him? Where did this come from? Okay,
and
Kyle's going on with him.
Yeah,
that's what's going on.
Yeah, and everybody be saying, of course they got he's a system quarterback, but you still have to know how to run that system.
Hey, he doesn't.
What I mean by that,
system is a check down artist. Like
what I mean by that is Trey Lance was in that system.
Was he? Yeah.
He's not even on that
struggled.
team anymore.
He struggled.
Jimmy G was in that system.
Well, same idea.
Jimmy G threw the ball he threw the ball 8 times. And went
he did in the
in
playoff game.
Come on, man. No, this kid is running that system.
No, I mean, he's rambling, gambling in that system.
You got to remember he was in the same game last year.
Yeah.
He played about plays and got hurt and was knocked out the game for the whole season.
I'm pretty sure they're going to win that game.
Worked himself up and got him right back to that game. Got him to the point to where they was doing something they hadn't done all season. It was come from behind and win. He did that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he did that.
And
you know what? I got to give this to him.
System manager, game manager, he's a beast.
But game managers just take little check down. Like they dink you and dunk you. He doesn't dink and dunk you. He'll try anything at any moment. He's the opposite of a game manager. So you mentioned Pacheco.
Yeah.
He runs all elbows and knees, right? Flying everywhere, slicing and dicing you.
They got a UFC fighter that he remind me of. Yeah.
What did we just witness at San Francisco? We saw in the first half Detroit run for 148 yards in a half, and then also abandoned the run in the second half.
What did they?
I don't know what happened. They ran it, 15 times in the first half, and they ran it 6 times in the second half. And they just, I don't know what, they felt like they had to fight fire with fire, and they saw fire coming from San Francisco, so they put the game in Jared Goff's hand. And he played pretty well.
Played pretty well, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but my point to you is, the Chiefs are going to watch that tape because you want to talk about getting gashed? Detroit gashed them and literally almost ran them completely off their home field. Well, I just think Kansas City's going to say, we can do some things with Pacheco and your little man from LSU, Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
Okay? I think they're going to ground and pound more than you think because I think they can. Because I think San Francisco is not what they used to be defensively, where they're some juggernaut. I don't think they're a juggernaut.
I mean, the run. San Francisco, they have a problem stopping the run.
They do.
Jones went crazy on them for us. We went crazy.
You know what? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, who I love. I just love what he's made of. He's just I keep calling him a kid, but he's not a kid anymore because he's like your elder statesman now, right?
For the team, yeah. Compared to all those young boys we got on there.
No, boy, you got a bunch of them. You got a whole receiver room full of them.
The whole receiver room is I mean, like you said, like you used the word, young men. We got a bunch of young men in there.
Yeah.
But as far as the Super Bowl game, I think they got some people that, you know, like us, they have some coaches that know how to coach coach whatever side of the ball they coach and do it real well. You know what I mean? But then they have some coaches that know how to coach the game and the way the game is going, and they know how to handle situations. To me, Andy's one of those type of coaches. So I don't know if it's gonna be so much. I think that he knows that everybody's expecting them to run on San Francisco because San Francisco can't really do too much with the run. And also, Andy just became that coach that would run the ball a bunch. He ain't never, Andy, he throwing that ball or something. That, right?
That's what he's made of.
He just adapted that run, whatever he got going, but because of Pacheco and people like Edwards-Helaire. But I think he gonna look for some play action. Look for some play action, and I think what I mean by that is I think he'll replace his running of those. You know what I mean? That what the run does for his offense, he could replace it with those dink and dunks. They're just like handoffs. You know what I mean? Like those little small dink to Pacheco to the left to Pacheco. I think he could do those as well.
Yeah, I see this as an extremely physical football game between two genius coaches. Both of them have genius about them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a chess match, but it's going to be a bloody chess match because it's going to be some serious hitting going on. Hey, even when Kansas City played up at Buffalo, it got bloody out there.
It was real out there.
It was real.
It was real. They took it to Buffalo.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow. So these teams are going to get after each other.
Yeah. But I say don't be surprised if Andy bring it straight to high flying offense and try to smother the 49ers early. Like you were saying, like try to 21-3 them or something by halftime, 24, something like that. Yeah. I just say don't be surprised if that happened, but I'm still rocking with you already. I'm rocking with the 49ers.
Okay. But I just saw the 49ers struggle with Green Bay. They were very lucky to survive.
They struggled this whole playoff.
They struggled the whole playoffs. They have struggled. They were down. If Dan, what do you call him, Dan Gamble?
Yeah.
If he goes for the throat at the end of the half, they're down 28-7. I don't think they're in. I think Detroit's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Okay, so I just think they're not playing at the level Kansas City is. Kansas City just found itself quietly, like in the shadows, off camera. They found themselves. And that coaching staff is really good.
Over there at Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they got Spags over there, right? That's who do it. Yeah, of course. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And also, they got Andy and anybody under his tree. You know how that goes, his whole coaching tree, all that. So they do have a great coaching staff over there, but I cannot overlook my man Kyle and his staff.
Well, you can't. And listen, I respect it. I honor it. You should rock with Kyle on this because it's time for him to break through and win one. So I get where your heart is. I'm just going with my head right now because I don't have a dog in the fight. Yeah. I don't care about it. Should have been Cowboys 49ers. That's what it should have been.
It should have been Cowboys 49ers.
It just should have been. You know it and I know it.
No, I told you.
It was destined.
No, I told you it was Packers Chiefs. I had Packers Chiefs.
Packers Chiefs.
Yeah.
How did you guys do to us what you did to us? I still don't get it. No, in all my life, I've never seen a football game like that. It was 27-0 before halftime.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It was 48-16 early in the fourth quarter. 48-16? How?
To me, it was the stage, Skip.
Well, you called it on Undisputed the Friday before. You sat right next to me and flat out called it with conviction to the point I said, I've known you for a long time. And I turned to you and I said, you're scaring me because You were saying it like you truly believe it. It wasn't like a heart thing. It was a head thing.
I could tell because it was, that stage is serious. And it reminded me of no more, no less, the Baltimore and the Chiefs game. Watching Kelsey knock Justin Tuck's stuff out the way, and this is in Baltimore. That's what it reminded me of. Like, this stage is too big for y'all.
Man.
The stage is a bit too big for y'all, and we've never even. This ain't our stage.
But
this ain't our show.
It was supposed to be our stage.
It was y'all show.
Jerry World.
And we sitting there watching, knowing that we in the back watching y'all, warming y'all voices up for rehearsal, and we watching y'all argue. We watching y'all mess up. Like, nah, they not ready.
Yeah, and when I least expected it, in the middle of the first quarter, really after the first series, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are getting into it. They're at each other.
And CeeDee don't argue with nobody.
Nobody. And I'm saying, what is this? That they were the most dynamic duo in football over the last, 10 weeks of the year?
Yeah, I mean, Dak was up for MVP.
Yeah. And CeeDee became, to me, the best receiver. I'm not talking about like in a vacuum, but just in productivity, you can't argue with the numbers.
CeeDee was one of, what was he?
He just, come on.
Yeah, I mean, CeeDee ain't catch a ball if it wasn't for a first down.
Yeah. And then, remember, it was the first third down. You probably were just getting settled in your seat. And Dak threw behind him and thought CeeDee should have broken off his route or something. And that's what they argue about, and so they're going off the field, and Dak is giving him the business as they leave the field, and CeeDee was not accepting it at all. And so Michael Irvin tells me on Undisputed, that's CeeDee's fault, because when like he said, whenever Troy got mad at me, I just took it because I'm beholden to him because I can't throw myself the ball. He is going to throw it to you whether you like it or not. Yeah. So you better just say, yes, yeah, whatever you say, sir, do it that way, which is how Michael did. But Michael's ego is as big as Troy's, but he knew he was smart enough to
break it
down. Swallow the ego.
That's not we're going to win.
But CD didn't swallow his ego. He went over and sat by himself on the bench to the point.
I remember the shot.
McCarthy had to go over and talk him off the ledge.
Yeah.
Like, because he's afraid he's going to lose him.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, this is our first playoff game where we're the 2 seed and
y'all going through that.
We got a home playoff game. We should have been playing Detroit the next week, and we would have beaten them. We just couldn't. You guys are serious, scary business. You're just scary. It's scary.
And we young.
Yeah.
But also, I think next season you got to worry about Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud. No, the young quarterback. Yeah. Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy.
Okay. Yeah.
And we in the GOAT.
I still can't put Brock Purdy in the sentence with those guys. I just can't. I just can't see it.
He's in the Super Bowl.
I know he's in the Super Bowl, and he played at Iowa State, and nobody wanted him. Nobody. I mean, at least Tom Brady was in the 6th round. Nobody even wanted him till the last pick.
I get it. Everybody passed on him.
Yeah.
6 times.
Yeah. Hey, Jordan Love is going to be a star.
No, we good. We got Jordan. Jordan he's a Green Bay Packer quarterback.
He's a Green Bay Packer. And you know what? He's a young man. He's a good young man. He's got quality. He's got backbone. He's got leadership. He's got intangibles. He's trustable, unlike his predecessor. Now a Jet, I guess. I don't know what he is. Whatever he is, wherever he is. He's probably down in South America now.
I think it didn't be reduced to a commercial flight.
Huh.
So it's not a jet no more, but it's like a commercial.
They're just the New York commercials.
Yeah, commercial. I think May got a business class seat though. It'd be all right. Yeah.
He's probably down experimenting with ayahuasca somewhere, right? Trying to clear his head out. I don't know. But listen, you're blessed without Aaron Rodgers. Let's just say it. It was nightmarish what he put you through for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And now the heavens opened and this kid fell out of the sky into your lap out of Utah State, and he can just flat play.
Yeah, he played the position perfectly.
He can play the position, and you have a smart young head coach. He's still young, and I told you the other day, he's got like battle scars. He's got good scar tissue.
I told you I never knew. I'm watching the highlight from the 28-3. The 28-3 Falcons Patriots Super Bowl. Yeah. And they showing Kyle.
And they
showing Kyle, and all of a sudden they show Matt. They show Matt. I'm like, wait, Matt was coaching. He was there. That's battle. That's scar
Part of
tissue
that's
right
scar
there.
tissue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he went through it with Aaron. He's been there and done all that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
So you got a quality coach with a quality quarterback, and your receiver room is spilling over with young, hot talent, the likes of which I've never seen as a group. Because every time I looked up, there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one.
And they dominating the game.
And then I'm thinking, wait, Christian Watson is supposed to be. No, wait a minute. No, he's not the guy.
They got Dobbs.
Dobbs has got.
not
Wait.
Dobbs. Then they got right. Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's this.
It's
wait,
Wicks. Hicks.
It's Wicks.
Yeah.
Wicks.
Yeah.
Oh, but then it's the other kid. It's what's the name? Jalen Reed. You know,
Reed.
like,
Yeah. So I was
like-
thinking about Rashid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now you got 4 potential number ones,
It's gonna
right?
be all right. It's gonna be all right.
I would
And then
say.
we still got Aaron back there running the
Yeah.
ball. We still got Quiet's man back there, Dylan.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Hey, no, seriously. There was some quote on ESPN.com. I told you about it. Some NFL executive saying, "My Super Bowl pick for next year is the Green Bay Packers."
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's 1 year premature, maybe. But listen, I wouldn't have been shocked
If we would have got there.
if they'd blown right through San Francisco. They had them. They just got to close. They got to cash. And then they would have had to go to Detroit. Well,
And we got their number.
Okay, well, we
got
saw
their
what you did
We
on
got their
Thanksgiving.
number, man. It's like
Okay.
Chicago. We own you.
Okay, you're more talented than they are. That's just me. You just and your defense started to take shape. Where now you got a new coordinator. We'll see how that works. But whatever. Listen, could you win it next year? Sure, you could. Absolutely, you
That was me, actually. I had just hacked their system. And
you put that in there. Okay, yeah. Well, why not? But you were kind of rolling with it. But you think
I roll with them regardless. I'm always Super Bowl. We one of those franchises like y'all are. You know what I mean? We one of those franchises, Super Bowl, and I don't care how young we are. I'm like, I think the same way you think at the beginning of the season, man, and throughout the season, Super Bowl or nothing. And so other than that, but once they get into the realization of everything and you deal with what you deal with, I'm just behind Jordan.
you should be. But when you say we're Super Bowl or nothing, no, we're just nothing. No, seriously, we're just nothing. No, we're done with Super Bowl. No, there's no Dallas Super Bowl in the future.
Don't do it like
The
that.
window just slammed shut.
Don't do it like
Well,
that.
it did. I'm just telling you. Now they got to pay and overpay a bunch of quote unquote stars for doing nothing.
Ooh, I thought
That's
about
what's going to
that.
happen. Watch. I said I had to put out a missing Parsons report for
Yeah, I've been checking.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I heard
don't know
somebody
whatever
check
happened.
on little bro.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I don't know whatever happened. He does podcasts, I hear, but
My brother Skip, man, I appreciate you doing
My
this, man.
brother.
Thanks for coming through.
it was a pleasure. I could talk to you all day
Man, you
and
already-
all night, and the next day and the next night without ever getting bored or having to figure out something to talk about. So
Man, I
thank you,
appreciate it, man.
thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure. And can't wait for the next Friday.
I was about to say, y'all,
8:30
I was about to say
Undisputed.
that. I was just about to say, make sure you check out Undisputed every day, Monday through Friday, 8:30. What time that is?
11:30 Eastern.
11:30
Yep.
Eastern. Yeah.
It's my favorite segment of the week because we get into it, and I have to take. Can I say this word? You said it before.
Yeah.
I have to take
Take
the
shit.
shit that
Yeah.
you give me
Yeah.
about the Cowgirls. Yeah.